Le Bon Temps Roulé, let the good times roll. We're heading into Mardi Gras to try out some of the food and beverages they're offering at Taste of Carnaval here at Universal Orlando Resort. Since there's no parade this year, they actually have the floats set up throughout the park. So as you head through Hollywood, King Gator is over here. And normally King Gator is the piece de resistance float of the parade. So I'm gonna turn you around and show you King Gator. So this is King Gator. He's huge. We love him. He's glittery. And this is the first time that guests have been able to get an up-close look at King Gator. Woo! Happy Mardi Gras! So if you saw that, there's a couple performers up on top of the float and they're throwing beads to us. So they're still able to get your beads. What they ask, you step on these social distancing markers and then they throw you beads. And the guests here love catching beads, and that's one of the biggest Mardi Gras things. So you can see, you're still able to get beads here at Mardi Gras Universal Studios, Florida. So this year's theme is Mardi Gras International Flavors of Carnaval. It's one of the first years that Universal's ever done like a food fest sort of thing. And their other theme is pirates, so party like a pirate. So right out here in front of Mel's, we actually have a pirate ship set up. Woo! There's even another float right here, right in front of Animal Actors between Kid Zone and Simpsons. So the first booth we're headed to is Belgium. It is right next to SpongeBob SquarePants. We're gonna be getting the Belgian Waffle. So the first item we have to try is the Belgian Liege Waffle is normally $4.49. If you have the normal tasting lanyard, it brings it down to, it actually is not a good value for the tasting lanyard because the tasting lanyard makes everything $5.50, so you'd be better off paying out of pocket for this one. And the Belgian waffle is a sweet Liege waffle with strawberries, whipped cream, and chocolate, and it looks so good, and I'm so excited to try a bite. What's cool about the foods this year is they're actually being made fresh at the different stands, so they had a waffle press in the back. They were making waffles fresh. Which is super awesome because then you don't have to worry about things like being cold or just being kept under a heat lamp. First bite. This is a good waffle. You can definitely tell it's fresh because it doesn't have that like been sitting under a heat lamp texture about it. It's not like crunchy and like, oh, it's so good. I don't know what makes a Liege, or it's L-I-E-G-E waffle, a Liege waffle, but this is delicious and this would be perfect for kids. Now one thing to note, the stands don't open until 11 o'clock every day, but this is a great breakfast option if you're getting to the park later and don't want to eat at your resort or your house before you come. So, I just looked it up. I still don't know if I'm saying the word right, but a Liege waffle means that Belgian Liege waffles are a style of waffle made with a yeast dough and pearl sugar. This style of waffle results in a chewy and puffy yeasted waffle with caramelized bits of sugar on the surface. So most waffles are like more dense. This has the texture of more like a donut than like an actual, like normal waffles. I really like this and I would love to learn how to make this. But super good and only $4.49. Definitely don't recommend using the tasting lanyard on this, but overall a great value for the amount of product you get as well, and the deliciousness of it. So we have something that I'm a little nervous about. This is the Sugar Shack Springtime Punch. It's a 9-ounce complex Canadian whiskey punch with a base of pear juice. You can get this at the Canada booth. This is in the normal Kid Zone Pizza Company building, but this is $5 and I'm nervous to try it, but I'm also kind of excited. There's a hint of whiskey. I wouldn't even call it a flavor, I'd call it more of a scent. And what's interesting is that the whiskey is almost giving it like a cinnamony taste. But it's really refreshing, honestly. Someone compared it to lemonade, and I would say I would agree with that. I don't know how how to describe it. It's good though. I like it. It's definitely unlike any other drink I've had before in a theme park when it comes to alcohol. So the reason why I was so nervous about it is that I don't like whiskey, but the pear juice definitely helps cut the whiskey flavor or taste. Like, it doesn't taste like whiskey. I don't know how to describe it. Yeah, I don't know how to describe it. It's good though. I like it. So this is the maple donut from Canada. It is a fried sweetened dough with cinnamon sugar and maple syrup. And what's really cool about this is actually vegan. So I'm super interested to try it. It looks a lot like a beaver tail. They also have a Nutella one that's topped with Nutella and crushed hazelnut. So super excited to try this one. I will say I had to wait like a couple minutes for it, but it was so hot I could barely hold it as they were handing it over to me.
Pretty big.
I don't know how to do this, so I guess I'm just gonna pick it up. It's definitely more like a donut, like crunchy with like chewy on the inside. You can kind of see it's fluffy. I wish there was more of a maple sugar flavor though, like a maple syrup flavor. One thing I think they could have done is taken the cinnamon and mixed it with a maple sugar. That made it given it a little bit more mapley flavor. But overall, it's a good, like I said, it's a good breakfast option. Not too expensive. It was $6.49. You could totally get this on a lanyard, or you can pay out of pocket for it. But overall, it's a really good, delicious dish. And it is vegan, which is awesome because not a lot of festivals do vegan food. Over by Fear Factor is the Bahamas booth. They've got jerk chicken, jackfruit, and a couple different beers. And then there's also a pirate ship. So across from the exit of Fast and Furious, we have Cuba. And in Cuba, they have 3 different food options. They have a Cuban sandwich, a Cuban flan, and plantain chips. They also have a couple different alcohol options as well as a Cuban coffee. So we got 2 items from Cuba. We got the Cuban flan as well as the Cuban sandwich. I was even looking at getting the Cuban coffee, but it is 85 degrees today in February. So it's a little hot for coffee right now, but maybe later. But I'm pretty excited about it. We actually got the Tasting Lanyard because it ended up being a good deal. It brings everything down to like $5.50. Now you don't have to use a Tasting Lanyard for everything. So like, for example, the flan was only $4.49 and we didn't use a Tasting Lanyard on it. Because you paid less than what the Tasting Lanyard was worth, if that makes sense. But the Tasting Lanyard was 10 items for $55. It was, with tax, it was $58.58, which I think is a pretty good value. This Cuban sandwich though is huge. It's like the size of a normal, like you get a full sandwich. In comparison to the grilled cheese I got at Disney, it's 4 times the size of that. So I'm not a big fan of Cubans, but I am gonna try it. It also came with plantain chips. The good thing is these are perfectly seasoned, nice and salty, and it has an excellent crunch. So we're gonna try a bite of the Cuban sandwich. As I mentioned before, I don't normally like Cubans because they have mustard and pickles on them, but I'm gonna try it for the sake of the vlog. Honestly, it's not too bad. It's been a while since I've had a Cuban. I actually kind of like it. The pickles give a nice dill flavor along with the Swiss and the different types of ham. So excellent, super delicious, super great value, and a great size for an item here at a food festival. So I have the baked Cuban flan, which is a baked vanilla custard with dark caramel, and they actually were popping this out of the container fresh for me as I was like waiting. It's funny, I never really order flan, and every time I'm kind of always like, yeah, I don't know, and every time I have it, I'm like, oh yeah, that's really good, I forget. If you're weird about texture, the texture can be a little bit like wonky because it is a custard, so it's a little bit like jello-y, but it's really good, especially if you like caramel. So for our next booth, we went to Italy. Italy is actually set up right across from the arcade and kind of the Mummy. And at Italy, I have arancini. Now, arancini is fried risotto with wild mushrooms, truffle, and Parmesan cheese, and it looks so good. There's even looks like there's a little red sauce in the bottom. So let's try a bite. If you like risotto, you'll like this. This is delectable. Can you see how cheesy and mushroomy that is? So good. And this was $5.99 in Italy. I know this looks like I'm in a horror film, but I'm in the tribute store and these shirts weren't in here the last time I was in here, so I figured I'd show them to you. So they have these two shirts. They're the same shirt. One's like a women's cut. It says travel the world, embark on a journey around islands of adventure. And they're super cool. These shirts are $28 and they're honestly pretty cool and pretty soft, which I really like. So for the Brazil booth, we have the strawberry and pineapple. I think it's pronounced Capriana. It's an alcoholic drink with strawberry and pineapple juice. And we're gonna try it. Oh my god. Oh my god. I don't know if you're supposed to mix it. I feel like you are, but it's really pretty also. That's a really nice combination. The strawberry has a sweetness to it. The pineapple has a sweet but a tartness to it. And then I'm not positive what type of booze they used. Apparently the alcohol is called Cacheta. I don't know what it is. I'm assuming it's a type of rum. Super great. Super refreshing. Next we're gonna have the, I've been calling them brigadeiros or bridgeteiros. They're a Brazilian classic with condensed milk, cocoa powder, chocolate sprinkles, and toasted peanuts. And then one of them has like Mardi Gras sprinkles on it. I assume this is like a Brazilian truffle. These are what they look like. You get 3 of them. And I don't know if I mentioned, but the Capriana, this is $7. This is a great thing to use your tasting lanyard on. And then the brigadeiros or the bridgeteiros, they are $4.49 and they're actually vegetarian as well. I don't think I would use my tasting lanyard on these. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take a small bite of each of these. We're gonna start with the peanuts. Next, the chocolate sprinkles. And last, the Mardi Gras sprinkles. They're basically truffles. Like hand-rolled truffles. They're a little different, but overall they're very good. I think my favorite was the chocolate sprinkles. But honestly, I think even these just rolled in like a sweet cocoa powder would be delicious either way. And they're so rich that you don't need a lot of them as well. So you can get these 2 items in Brazil. So fun fact, the alcohol that's in the Capriana, the CACHACA, is actually an alcohol that is made by from distilling sugarcane juice. So it's a sweeter liqueur, and that's what's in the strength. But warning, it's strong because they can have between 38 and 48% alcohol content in it, so drink responsibly. So I did a little bit more digging, and the cachaça, or whatever I was just talking about, is actually listed as a Brazilian type of rum, so that's good to know. So it is a type of rum like I suspected. So I don't know how, but we managed to miss the Germany booth, where it is right across from King's Cross Station. And they've got vegan bratwurst and Bavarian pretzels and pork schnitzel and plenty of beer. So in the Germany booth, we got the pork schnitzel slider, which is a fried pork cutlet, spicy mustard, braised red cabbage, and Gruyere cheese. This thing is massive, like fork for scale. Like, I don't even know how to eat this. This portion is huge. It's $5.99 from Germany. I'm just gonna try a bite of the pork. I guess we're gonna try a bite. This is so good. And for $5.99, this is like a meal. I would get this again. It's nice and crunchy, but the breading isn't too heavy. The Gruyere cheese gives it a nice creaminess and almost a tinge of a sweetness. And I'm sure the red cabbage gives it a nice tanginess. And for $5.99, you can't beat it. This is so good. I know I keep saying that, but wow. Universal, color me impressed. So we're over by the water, and I think this area is technically called Battery Park. We are at the New Orleans booth, where they've got crawfish and shrimp boils, and probably the most important thing when it comes to Mardi Gras, beignets! That sugary goodness. What's really funny is, so there's like these 6 benches kind of around where you can sit, And you can tell where people have been eating beignets because, well, I'll just show you. It's just in front of all of the seats around. It's so funny. Like, yep, nope, got no idea what people have been eating here. But we are gonna try the first bite of the heavenly goodness that is beignets. I'm sure it's gonna be delicious, but this one kind of looks like a stingray. So good. If you've never had a beignet or heard of a beignet, I'm sure I got sugar all over my face, but they're basically just like fluffy donuts covered in powdered sugar. If you come to Mardi Gras, you have to get beignets. It's kind of like the law. So also in New Orleans, they have a king cake milk punch. That is a 9-ounce serving of bourbon milk punch using house-made king cake syrup. I don't like bourbon, so I'm really nervous to try this, but and I was asking another guest and they said it kind of tastes like rum chata. So we'll see. Rum chata is probably a good way to describe this. It's that cinnamony flavor again. Like it kind of tastes like bourbon, but not really. As you can tell, it doesn't have that like kick that'll make you go like. This is $6, and honestly, I think this is a pretty good value for the size that she did. So we just came out of the tribute store, and we got 3 different things. We were gonna get one more, but they were out of it. And that was the crab meat hand pie. Super excited for that one, but I guess I'm gonna have to come back and try it another time. But the first item we have is the chocolate covered bourbon cake pop thing. This was $3.49, and it's pretty good size. Like, it's probably 2 inches wide. So I guess we're gonna try it. A vessel cover in chocolate. Ooh, it's very bubbly. It reminds me of like alcoholic truffles. It's good, and it's a nice thick coating on the chocolate. You probably can't tell. Tastes really good. The cake is nice and moist. Definitely good value for $3.49. So the next item we're having is a salted caramel praline sandwich. They've been calling these praline cookies. They're just pralines. But the cool thing is this one is half dipped in chocolate, and I don't know if you can see between the 2 layers. There's salted caramel between the 2 layers. I'm so excited. First of all, pralines are like one of my favorite things ever. Second of all, caramel is like my second favorite thing ever. We're gonna try this. Oh my heavenly goodness. I don't want to share this. That caramel is so creamy and buttery and salty, and oh, that salted caramel is what dreams are made of. One thing to note, that the salted caramel filled praline sandwich cookie things are half dipped in a dark chocolate, which I actually really like because the dark chocolate kind of helps cut some of the sweetness. So the next item we're gonna have is the king cake. And now I've never had king cake before, and after having the king cake milk punch, I'm really curious as to what king cake actually tastes like. So we're gonna try it. So we actually were able to get one like pre-packaged in a little box. So it has this sugar cookie crown on it. We're not gonna try the crown today. I'm kind of just sweeted out. So we're just gonna try a bite of it. As you can see, the cookie's stuck to the top of the container, which is fine. And no, that's not mold, that's from the sprinkles. So I was afraid it was gonna be like a donut, but it's definitely more of a cake. Let's try it. So I'm gonna be kind of harsh. I don't know if this is what king cake is actually supposed to taste like. Because this just tasted like, have you ever been to like a convenience store like around 10, 11 o'clock and you got a donut and it's like kind of weirdly chewy, but the icing is still kind of soft. There's not really any flavor to it. That's what it tastes like. I'm not impressed. And for $4.99, I feel like I should be. It's a good size, but it's like a weird cake donut thing with sprinkles and white icing, and with white icing and sprinkles that have no flavor to it, and I can't justify this. I can't suggest you to have this, not when there's so many better items in the park. I would tell you to get the donut from Canada, the waffle from Belgium, the bites from the little chocolate bite things from Brazil. I tell you to get the bourbon pop, or even the praline cookie sandwich thing. This has no flavor. There's no taste. There's nothing special about it. Like, it's dry. And maybe it's because I got it later in the day, but I just am not impressed. And yeah, sorry Universal, first fail of the day. I can't suggest it to anyone. If I were to rate it like 1 out of 10, I'd probably give it like a 4, honestly. So that wraps up our first day here at Universal Orlando's Mardi Gras Taste of Carnaval celebration. I've had a great time, and considering I've only had 1 miss today when it comes to food, I'm pretty stoked about that. But there are so many great options here at Mardi Gras. I'm going to leave the menus linked down below. That'll have all the prices as well. So leave any questions or comments you have down below. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Give this video a thumbs up, as well as follow along with me on my social media. And I'll see you guys next time on Bridgette's Buzz.